welcome to Counsel of the Day with Shanrae, and I am Shanrae. This is our last and final night until November for my Counsel of the Day with Shanrae. Give me 1 minute. Let me make sure that Instagram is on. All righty then. Good evening. Welcome to my Facebook, my YouTube, my LinkedIn, my Instagram, my TikTok, and X. Good evening, everybody. Tonight is our last and final month for August. This month we have talked about if you know better, if you know better, do better. We found out that first week, just because you know better does not automatically mean that you are going to do better. It's a process. We learned about the 2-minute strategy. And guys, y'all have to bear with me because I am going to end this session with a Japanese word. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it right or not, but y'all will figure it out. So we talked about that 2-minute strategy, like whatever you need to do or whatever you want to do. If you want to gain knowledge on something, if you want to restructure something, so just put 2 minutes on your timer. Put 2 minutes on and just do 2 minutes of it. Continue to practice that. And the 2-minute strategy, it works. You'll start seeing in progress with doing that. So you can eventually move up to the to 5 minutes. But before I get started with this, let me move this along. I'm a degree counselor, and I've acquired my degrees from Ashford University. I'm an Ashford University alumna. All right, this is my website disclaimer. Let me open this really quickly. All right, and that's for my fellow counselors. Hey, Anti-Perm, how you doing? That's my Laisha. How you doing? Okay, and then we're going to move this along. That's my bio. I'm not going to read it for you. I've done it so many times. This is my scripture that I choose to stick with, Deuteronomy 31:6. And it says, the NIV version says, to be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you, nor will he forsake you. I'm a Christian counselor, but I'm not trying to push this down y'all throat. That's just my belief. All right, so let's move it along to our key points for tonight because we're finishing up. We did wonderful this month. We learned a lot of strategies, and I hope that it helps you all in your future endeavors. Number one, the first key point is the core framework, and it's the 4 phases of the Lotus method, and we're continuing the Lotus method from Tuesday night. The bloom, which is the deep focus. The thrive, which is identity and patience, and then I'll take away and I'll quote. All right, so I was supposed to play the video here, but I want to dive in a little bit deeper. There's something that I ran across earlier, and it really stuck out to me, and I wanted to share it with you all because change, when we want to change for the better, or we have a dream to change for a better, or we want to do something. If you have a dream of doing something, that dream, the acronym for dream is number 1, discipline. We have to discipline ourselves in order to reach that goal. Number 2 is routine. Stay on a routine. Get on a routine. Stay on it to move you closer. And that's what we've been talking about this month and all the other previous months about, you have to get yourself and your mind in a state of mind and place where you can move forward with your dream. E for a dream is education. You don't have to go to college. The college isn't required for everything. A trade school is not required for everything, but if you can educate yourself, go to the library, research, get up under someone else who's already accomplished the goal and learn from them. Ask, could they be your mentor? There's different ways that you can educate yourself. A stands for action, and E stands for M stands for mentality. So dream. The D stands for discipline. The R stands for routine. The E stands for education. The A stands for action, and M stands for mentality. If we can get all of that stuff and get it in accordance, you will be able to reach your dream every single time. All right, so let's go over the Lotus method just a little bit. And this Lotus method, again, is the ultimate framework for building self-control and dominating your hardest goals. I really, really do like that with this. We talked about there, if you set up 9 boxes and you put in each box a step that brings you closer to your goal, that helps when you can see it visually. Okay, so let's talk about the core framework, the 4 phases of the Lotus. Okay, and this is the continuation. It says the method itself is incredibly simple. The Lotus method is incredibly simple, just like the flower. This system is built on 4 distinct parts. Number 1 is the root. Number 2 is the stem. Number 3 is the bloom. And number 4 is thrive, the thrive of it. Okay, we're going to break that down tonight. The first one is the root. We all have a root. We all have a foundation. Next is the stem. Then the bloom, the blooming of yourself, the blooming of the flower. And then the thrive. All right. So I'm going to start out with the stem. I don't know why they want to start out with the stem, but they started out with the stem. Okay. And it says the stem is what keeps the lotus standing tall. Hold on. Because are we going to go backwards to the root? I'm not sure. I hope it printed out. Okay. I missed the whole root thing, but that's okay. I think I talked about the root on Tuesday night. Let me see. Excuse me. I think I left off with the root on Tuesday night. Because I don't want to move to, I want to get those 4 examples out to you all. And I did. Let's go over the root again. So the root in the lotus, and we talked about this, is the awareness. Every lotus needs a strong anchor. So phase 1 is all about creating an unshakable mental base for getting brutally honest with us, with our own selves. All right. So the root of it is defining your why with precision. Then number 2 is identifying the texture of the mud that it's in. Number 3 is catch the scam. Your brain will try to trick you into checking your phone or cleaning your room or anything when it comes down to change. And the bottom line is your brain is going to try to help you avoid the right thing to do because 1, it's afraid. Number 2, you might just you have a thing about being perfect, and nobody and nothing is perfect. So I talked about the root on Tuesday night. Now we're going to keep going, and we're going to continue to talk about the next phase, which is the stem. The stem is self-control and immersion. And the stem is what keeps the lotus standing tall, rigid, and focused. So no matter how dirty or turbulent the water gets around us, this phase is where we can take control of our actions, regardless of what is happening outside of our minds. Okay? So the 5-second countdown. Now we talked the first week about the 2-minute strategy. This 5-second countdown, the moment that you feel hesitation creep in, count backwards out loud. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's called the 5-minute countdown. So whenever you start feeling uncomfortable, whenever you start feeling like, oh no, I'm out of control, count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then move away from the situation. This tiny trick completely interrupts our brains, ability to overthink and to force physical actions. So when we start to feel overwhelmed, count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then move away from the situation for a little bit. Okay. So, doctor, hold on. And this is the doctor that talked about it. Let me see what the doctor who did the research on this says that this really does work. It works like a charm. Now they're getting back to the 2-minute immersion. Stop staring at the massive project, whatever it is that you're trying to work on. Instead, just commit 2 minutes of actual contact with the task. Tell yourself that you'll just write 1 sentence if you're trying to write something, or clear 1 email. This gateway task releases a tiny splash of directed dopamine into your brain, breaking the initial friction and creating the exact momentum that you need to keep going. So now set your alarm clock for 2 minutes again. We're going right back to that 2-minute strategy. The last part of the stem is practice delayed gratification. So the next time that you feel overwhelmed, overwhelming urge to check your phone or to grab a snack, make a deal with yourself. 2 more minutes of this work, and then I can have the reward. Every single time you successfully delay your dopamine, you're literally retraining your brain. And that's what this is all about, us retraining our brains. Lord, I'm moving so fast until I didn't move my thing. Okay, there we go. All right, so And this literally retrains our brain and makes our self-control significantly stronger for the next round. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is go on and play the rest of this video right now. Here we go.
Almost every time is that the task you were dreading wasn't actually that hard. It was just that you were looking at all of it simultaneously instead of any one piece of it specifically. The editing workflow is not hard. The thumbnail style is not hard. The first video idea written out clearly is not hard. Each individual piece, when you look at it alone, is completely manageable. It was the undifferentiated mass of all of them together that made the brain lock up. Seneca wrote something that keeps coming back to me here. He said that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. He was writing about anxiety, but the same thing is true about hard work. The anticipation of the task, the looking at the whole unmapped thing, is almost always worse than any individual piece of the task actually is. The Lotus method collapses the imagination problem. It replaces the vague, overwhelming shape of the task with the specific, manageable reality of its components. Now, the daily application, because understanding something and actually using it are different things, and I don't want this to stay theoretical. The practice is simple. Every Sunday or whenever you're planning your week, you take the 3 to 5 most important things you need to move forward and you run the Lotus breakdown on each one. 10 minutes per task. By the end, you have a complete map of everything that needs to happen that week, broken into pieces small enough to actually start without negotiating with yourself first. Then every morning you look at the map and pick one cell, one specific subcomponent, one desire, and that's what gets done first. Before the inbox, before the phone. Just one cell, usually 30 to 60 minutes of focused work on one defined piece of one defined task. What this does to the psychology of the workday is significant. You're never sitting down to do something vague and large. You're always sitting down to do something specific and small. The brain, which was staging a resistance operation against the big undefined thing, barely notices the small specific thing. It just does it. And the small specific things done consistently across days and weeks are what the big things are actually made of. The last thing I want to leave you with is this. The brain avoiding hard things is not evidence that you're not capable of them. It's evidence that you're human and that your brain is doing what it was built to do in a context it wasn't built for. The fix isn't to become someone who doesn't feel resistance. It's to have a system that makes the resistance irrelevant, that bypasses it entirely by changing what the brain is actually looking at. A mapped task and an unmapped task are not the same psychological experience. One produces avoidance, the other produces action. The Lotus method is just the practice of always showing up to the mapped version. Draw the grid, fill the boxes, pick one cell, then just start there.
Okay, so the Lotus method, what it did is just reiterated everything that I talked about mostly throughout the month. Okay, all right, and so let's move on. Now we're talking about number 3, the bloom or the deep focus of you. Consider yourself being that lotus flower. How we experience some mud and some murk and stuff like that, but we come up out of it. And when we come up out of whatever sticky or a hard situation or a shock of a situation, we come up beautiful, strong, and we are very, our self-worth, we are valued very highly. Okay, so now let's talk about the bloom, that part of the Lotus. Deep focus. So once you've gained control over your actions and you quieted your mind, remember we said count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then move away from the situation for a little bit, then come back when you have a clearer mind. Okay, so once your mind is quieted, it's time to direct all the things that you gathered energy towards a single point. We're going to focus in on one thing. This phase is about working without a single distraction and locking in your full mental potential. So number 1 under the bloom is the power of single tasking. That's a power right there, to just do one single task. Like a Shalom monk, perfecting one punch at a time. He says, pick your highest impact task and give it your undivided attention. Use the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes of deep, uninterrupted work, followed by a 5-minute break. I like that. Most people use this when they're working out. You doing your hardcore, whatever you're doing, jumping jacks, or you weightlifting, or you hardcore on that track. and then you take a 5-minute break. Okay. All right. So your body, you can build up your breath in your body and all of that. Focus isn't about working longer hours. It is about working completely without interruption. That's what focus is. So the power of single tasking is the first thing up under the bloom or deep focus. Number 2 is set your daily MITs. Let me explain what that is. Never start your morning wondering what you should do next. Write down your most important task or your MITs the night before going to bed. When you wake up, and when you wake up the next morning, after writing down your MITs, which is your most important task, your roadmap is already laid out and you can jump straight into your execution. All right. So number 3 is step into the stretch zone. Easy work is dangerous because it leaves room for your mind to wander and to get distracted. So to stay engaged, you should pick a task that challenges you. All right. According to the Yerkes Dotson law, a healthy amount of mental arousal or mild stress actually enhances focus and motivation and your performance. So in this stretch zone, the challenge is just high enough to activate your brain's learning centers, without triggering an overwhelming anxiety response. So again, you're going to step into that stretch zone. So you're going to stretch your mind just a little bit now. Okay, that's what you're going to do. And then number 4 is embrace daily stillness. Spend 5 to 10 minutes a day in absolute stillness or meditation. And it works, guys. I do it. Think of it like letting the mud in a glass of water naturally settle down to the bottom. Okay, this lowers your cortisol, your stress levels, and it helps your brain reframe hard tasks as puzzles to solve rather than threats to run away from. So it's okay to embrace daily stillness. And as a matter of fact, I highly suggest that you should meditate. Don't be ashamed or afraid to meditate. Now we're moving into the thrive part of the four different parts of the lotus flower. And like I said earlier, when I first got started, the 4 parts of the lotus flower is the root, the stem, the bloom, and the thrive. We're already on the thrive, guys. And then we're going to be it until November. So no one achieves success by doing everything right for just a single day. Real transformation comes from turning those single days into lifelong habits. Y'all remember what I just read to y'all about a dream? I'm going to read it to you again. All right. So out of this thrive, it's the thriving part of it is identity and patience. All right. So number 1, we're going to trust the compounding effect of this change, of this growth. Growth works exactly like compound interest works. Nothing, hey, how you doing, Humble? Nothing seems to happen for a long time. And then suddenly everything happens all at once. So that's trust the compounding effect. Number 2 is shift your identity. To make discipline stick permanently, you got to change how you talk about yourself. Stop saying to yourself that I'm trying to be disciplined and start saying I am disciplined. Okay, I'm a disciplined person. So if you can only focus on the end result, you're going to wind up losing heart during the slow times. But when you shift your identity and your daily actions naturally start to follow. All right, so the next thing up under thrive is build an accountability system. I believe in accountability partner, but I mean, whatever works for you. Let me see that. He said, hey, yes. All right, build an accountability system. He said, let's face it, we are much more likely to follow through when we know somebody is watching us. We always do. You won't put on your best performance with somebody watching you. So find a partner with similar goals or share your intentions with someone that you can respect and create a social contract with them. All right. Which I agree with that. You won't want to break with them. You can even gamify your progress with habit trackers to keep it engaging. So building an accountability system and getting an accountability partner, something that will help remind you stay on task. And the last one with the thriving part of it is the weekly review. So at the end of every single week, Sit down and review your progress. Ask yourself, what worked? What didn't work? What should I do differently next week? And this simple habit allows you to instantly bounce back and course correct, even if the past 7 days did not go exactly as you planned it to. Now, again, we're comparing ourselves with the lotus plant, all right? Because our walk in life or our life is very similar. A lot of times we've experienced mud and murk and stuff like that, but we've come out of it beautifully. Okay, our value is still very high. And so I love this example of the lotus flower compared to us in our lives. So at the end of the day, the goal of the Lotus method isn't to chase temporary waves of motivation or wait for the perfect day to get to work. It is about transforming your character. It's about becoming someone who can sit right in front of intense discomfort, look it in the eye, and refuse to run away. That's a bad person right there. The mud, the heavy workloads, the difficult projects, the moments of self-doubt, and the daily distractions, that's all the mud, guys, will always be there. It is. It's a permanent part of the landscape, all right? But you no longer have to let it hold you back. You have the roots to anchor you, the stem to keep you resilient, the bloom to focus your mind, and the identity to help you thrive. The swamp isn't going to clear itself up. The question is, will you start growing through it today? All right. So again, I love this because this lotus flower and the method of its growth, it really and truly, it reminds us of our own walk, how things work for us. I want to find something. I want to talk about that dream again. Hold on, it's up, and I got paperwork everywhere, y'all. Paperwork everywhere. But it's all good. Everything is done for a purpose. I think I left it over here with the dream. And I did. There we go. So I wanted to recap on your dream. You have a dream. Hopefully you do. We all have dreams that we really want to fulfill. Some of us want to travel across the world. Some of us want to get a higher education. Some of us want to purchase a home. There are different dreams. And that the acronym for dream is discipline. That's the D. R is routine. E is education. A is for action. And M is for mentality. All of this can be all boils into one thing. We all have dreams. But and I want to remind you, having these dreams, it can happen, guys. Our dreams can come true if we incorporate a lot of the things that I've been talking about throughout the week. Okay, throughout this month, actually. We all have dreams. So let's move this along. And I don't think I've been moving my PowerPoint along fast enough, as fast as I've been talking. I have not. Here we go. Let me open this and close this. So the work of change requires us to overcome a misconception. We believe that we need the very thing that we're trying to give up, and we can only detach from them bit by bit as we find a better reality to attach to, also bit by bit. All right. Our quote is, it is our duty as men and women to proceed as though the limits of our abilities do not exist. And that is Pierre Desjardins. All right. So let's move on to my service announcements. And then that's it. I'll see y'all in November, guys. I'll tell you. This is for my fellow theorists and counselors. The website disclaimer. Not the website. This is where I got my theories from. All right, and next are my service announcements. All right, so if you want to create a personal and professional transformation through expert coaching, if you need a life coach, www.betterup.com is the place to look into. They will pair you with the perfect life coach if that's what you want, if that's what you're looking for. All right. ADA Plus Community, empowering adults with ADHD, ADD, and OCD to live their best lives. A different brain requires a different approach. www.adapluscommunity.com. Next is betterhelp.com. So if you want a safe space to speak with a licensed professional that's online, BetterHelp offers affordable counseling sessions for individuals, for couples, and for the entire family. www.betterhelp.com. Our next one is the 988 Crisis Helpline, where help is available. So if you need to connect with someone that you can trust, if you're struggling or someone else that you know is struggling, it is okay to share your feelings. The 988 Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people who are in distress, prevention and crisis resources for you or your loved ones, and best practices for professionals within the United States. That is the 988 Crisis Helpline. And now the next one is one of my favorite organizations, been around for well over 30 years, Learning RX. And it's brain training that's offered to strengthen thinking skills. Now, this is not just for adults. It's not just for people with ADD or ADHD. It's for all people who want to enhance their knowledge and their memory and their thinking and all of that. And so Learning RX, the average graduate improves their IQ by 13 points. That is phenomenal. During the period of brain training, the students gain significant gains in skills like their working memory, their long-term memory, and their attention. www.learningrx.com. I stand by that organization. They have really helped a lot of people. All right. So if there is a past Counsel Today with Shanrae series that you missed or you just want to rewatch, you can go to my YouTube channel at Shanrae Price. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications, and then select any past series that you want to watch. All right. And lastly, I am a professional one-on-one counselor. I do a private counseling. So if you're interested in professional one-on-one counseling services, feel free to contact me via my Facebook Messenger, or you can email me at shanrae.price@gmail.com. All right. I'm a lifestyle strategist, and my aim is to aid you in your life's goals and your life's dreams. Y'all, it has been a wonderful, wonderful month. We're talking about if you know better, should you do better? Yeah, we should do better when we know better, but it doesn't automatically happen right away. And that's what we learned this month. Sometimes you have to gradually incorporate the knowledge that you're learning to help you be better. But the key thing is to do it so you can get to the goals and the dreams that you're wanting to get to. All right. So this has been August 2026, Counsel Day with Shanrae. And I hope that you all got something out of it this month. I'm going to see y'all back in November of 2026. And that will be my final Counsel of the Day for the year 2026. Y'all know I do it 4 times a year, guys. 4 times a year. So thank you once again. I totally appreciate you all. Totally appreciate you. Thank you. See y'all in November. Have a wonderful upcoming Labor Day. Every holiday that's coming until I see y'all in November. Enjoy, be safe, and be good to yourself. All right. This has been Shanrae with Counsel Today with Shanrae. Bye-bye.